Hi, welcome to Guitar Time. I'm Robert Knoll, and I would like to give you your pre-lesson today. This is before you even have a first guitar lesson. You got to learn how to tune the guitar. So, very first thing here is that we know the notes of the open strings. We got to know the names. So, this sixth string, the lowest string, is called an E string, and we'll call that the sixth string. It's number 6. Number 5 is the A string. Number 4 is the D string. The third string is the G string. And then we have the B string and the high E string. So we got 2 E strings, the high E string and the low E string. So this very high E string, I'm hitting it with my pick, and you can see how I'm holding my pick. Got it between my thumb and my first finger like I'm pinching it. Yeah, and I don't have a lot of it, but I got to hold it. And you might just be hitting it with your thumb or a finger, okay? But that's your high E. That's your first string. Your second string is B. Third string is G. Fourth string is D. Fifth string is A. And then the sixth string is E. So you can come up with little sentences that might tell you E, A, D, G, B, E, or E, B, G, D, A, E. So you got to learn those notes. Anyways, the first kind of tuner we're talking about are these little electronic tuners they have these days. They're important. They're like 10, 15, 20 bucks. You get them at a music store. You can get them online. And there's all kinds of different companies that make them. This is called a Snark. And they're just, you want to clip them on the end of your guitar. Like I have this one up here, clipped on the end of the guitar. And when you turn it on, you'll see that it's got like a kind of a scale of notes that if I hit like a low E string here, it's actually going to tell me E. You'll see the E there. And if that note's too low, it'll go in the red. Or if it goes too high, it'll go in the yellow or orange, whatever. Tuners are all a little different, but you want to get it to go right in the center on this tuner where the blue light is. So that's telling me my E string's really in tune. Now I'll go to my fifth string, my A string. Oh, that's good. That's perfect. That's right on. How about my D string? Now if okay, just a little, I'm going to tune that up. I'm going to push it away from me. See if it gets better. No, it's getting worse. It's going sharp. I want to go a little bit flat. And now it looks like it's right in. The G string, remember when you turn away from you, that brings the pitch higher. If you turn the tuning peg towards you, the pitch goes lower. So this is all about pitch and frequency of the string, which we'll talk about more in the future. But let's get this G in tune. It's too low. It's not registering to the G note until I get it, about, I think we're pretty close. Oh no. There it goes. I got it now. There it is. See the blue light on? Now I go to the B string. Oh, that's in tune. Well, that's great. I'll keep that right there. And then the high E looks pretty good. E, A, D, G, B, E. You gotta know those names. So this is one way of tuning, and it's usually the easiest way these days to get the electronic tuner. You can go online for your computer or your phone or your iPad and get these great big ones. Look at this one on my iPad. This is from Boss. This is called the Chromatic Tuner TU3W, the Waza Craft. And I got this free. Didn't even pay anything for it. Just added it on from the applications. So you can see when I hit my fifth string, there's my A. I'm going to go to my sixth string. There's my E. Oh, it looks pretty good. When the light goes in the very middle, it turns green. That tells me I'm in tune. You can see the A string's right on. You got to be kind of close to the iPad for it to pick up the sound of the note. There it is. It's right on. G, right on. B, right on. High E, yeah, went to the green. So these are great tuners. This also gives you a tone, if you set it up, that gives you the tone A, bum, so you can hear tones. That's another thing that some tuners have for you. But you might have to, when you first learn to tune guitar, knowing a guitar player that knows how to tune guitar, having them work with you, sit with you, watch you tune. That's one good way. I'm sure there are other internet lessons on tuning a guitar, but eventually you get really used to the sound of all of these strings. And you get to tell if one of them doesn't sound right. It sounds bad. So I got to tune that up. Let's see, I'll use my little tuner here. I think I almost got it. Yeah, right on the B. And then when we can play chords, we can check the chords. We can go, oh, that chord doesn't quite sound right. Oh, that B was a little flat. There it goes. That sounds much better. So you want to tune guitar. You want to learn to tune. And usually the electronic tuners are the best way to first learn to tune the guitar. Because when you have your first guitar lesson, you don't want to be, spending a half hour or whatever learning to tune guitar. It's something that hopefully you learn before you get to your first lesson. Or at least have a good idea. And, we got to be in tune, because if you're not in tune, it's just not going to sound good. There's what we call standard tuning, and that's what we're doing today. It means this A string that I hit is at 440 vibrations per second. So frequencies, it's important. You can get into the science of guitar tuning and strings and vibrations and frequencies. But eventually you'll get used to hearing these strings, and you'll get used to standard tuning. There's a lot of different kind of tunings. We got G tunings, E tunings. We can tune to just about any chord, which makes the guitar really versatile. But it's important that as you learn to tune, your ear starts to get good, and it gets better at hearing pitches. And as musicians and guitar players, we need to make our ears sound better. So this is why this is so great. I'm going to briefly show you how we tune standard. If I take it, for instance, that my low E string's in tune, which I am, you can tell by my tuner, and I go to A here on the 5th fret. I'm just going to use my second finger. I count the frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and usually this has some kind of little dot on it. There's my 5th, and if I hit the A string on the E string, and I hit my open A together, those two notes should sound just alike. And they do. So you can see my fingers on the 5th fret. I'm just putting it there and hitting that string and the open string together. Those A's sound in tune to me. Now I'm going to go move my second finger down one string. Now I've got my finger on the 5th fret. It happens to be a D note on the 5th fret A string. And now I'm going to hit 2 strings. Well, if I'm hitting the 5th and 4th string together, they should sound the same. And if they don't, you're probably out of tune. And then I go to the next 2 strings, which would be the 4th string and 3rd string, the D string and the G string, and I still got my second finger on the 5th fret, and I play this G note on my D string 5th fret, and I hit the open G string. And that sounds good. To me, that sounds in tune. Now, the only string that changes is I go down to the 4th fret for a B note on the G string, third string, and I hit the open second string, B. And that sounds a little different. Doesn't sound quite right. Maybe I need to go up a little bit. There it is. That sounds nice. And then I go from the 4th fret back up to the 5th fret on B string, the second string to the 5th fret, and I hit the open E string. And those two E's have to sound just alike. And I think maybe that's E string on the top. It's close, but it's not exact. Let's go up a little bit. So, no. If I go too low, listen to what it sounds like. I'm going to hit this E. No. 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 Now, it's too high. Got to come back down. Sounds pretty good. Okay. E minor chord. Ooh, it sounds great. E chord. D chord. G chord. C chord. A minor. A. Wow. Sounds good. Now I'm in tune. Yay. Now I'm ready to do some practicing. You always got to check your tune. Make sure, because sometimes just the weather will take your guitar out of tune. And the neck changes, the woods change, and there's a lot of reasons why the humidity has an effect on instruments. Your strings can stretch. And so that's a little bit about tuning. There's one other system that I won't go into today, but it's called harmonic tuning. It's where you do these bell tones. Sound like bells. The 12th fret, the 7th fret, 5th fret. But that's, we'll talk about that as your ear gets better. And then you can use chords to check. Once you get used to hearing what are called the intervals of fourths, you kind of know how those two notes, the 6th string and 5th string, sound together. The 5th string and 4th string. The 4th string and 3rd string. B and G, or G and B. And B and E. You kind of get used to that as you play guitar longer. But like I said, there's lots of tunings. That's what makes an instrument so amazing, that we can do all these different kind of tunings for different styles and music of different cultures and countries. And it's just a great instrument, right? So you have to not get frustrated with tuning. It takes a while. You usually don't tune great when you first start. The electronic tuners, if you learn to use them, it's a good way to check yourself if you try tuning the other way that I showed you, the standard way, standard tuning way. You get good at it. It's something that you practice. And like I said, if you know, have a friend that plays guitar, or you can get around a guitar player, even online. You could type in tuning and see a lot of other people talk about tuning, like I've been trying to teach you. Maybe they're teaching you better. I don't know. I'm trying to tell you that it's very important, and I think the electronic tuner is the best way to go. And remember, the other kind of tuner that I showed you, this looks great on my iPad. It's huge, you know? I could have it on a computer screen or the TV screen, and I could be hitting my note and going, oh, okay. So, I mean, technology has gone a long ways. Now we can use electronic tuners. Makes it a lot easier. So I hope this helps you, and eventually you're going to be consistent, and you're going to be really good at tuning, and it's just a great thing. People go, wow, guitar sounds great. Well, hey, I'm in tune, man. And it's another good thing. I'll just mention it, talk a little bit. It's good to be in tune in life, mindful, in tune with a whole lot of things. Get in tune with your guitar. Get mindful of hearing. Your ear can be trained to be really great. It's Robert Knoll at Guitar Time. This was your lesson about tuning, the pre-lesson.